So Denver itself is not a very large city. I mean, we're talking about a city with roughly 710,000 people that have taken more than 40,000 migrants within the last year, with 20,000 of them going on to other places, 20,000 staying. It also makes them the smallest city to take the largest amount of migrants. Right? They cannot handle that. They can't. Under any circumstance can a city that small withstand that wild of an influx, guys. But all right, listen, let's go ahead and jump into this video immediately. The name of the video is Denver is hitting a breaking point in handling the migrant influx, says Mayor Johnston. All right. And this is a suggestion via Discord, guys.
And joining me now is Denver Mayor Mike Johnston. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being with us. And my first question is, what resources, just generally, do you feel like you need from the federal government right now amid this surge in migrants?
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I mean, I think we have been pushing really hard that there are three key items we need right now. We definitely need the Congress to take action on dollars for support for cities. That's key. I think the second is we need more work authorization for folks that are arriving to our cities. The biggest issue is we have folks here who want to work and are not able to work. And the third is we need their help on a plan for coordinated entry. So we don't have just the governor of one state deciding where all newcomers go, but actually a coordinated plan nationwide for all of our cities and states to be a part of the solution. And we think those three things can actually help us be very successful. We just need those three things from Congress to be able to succeed here at the city level.
You've been pushing on the issue of work authorization specifically for some time now. You asked the White House last month for more authorizations. Have you gotten any response from the Biden administration or any indication that increased authorizations might be part of the negotiations that are going on in D.C. around this border issue?
We're working hard at it. I think they understand it and see it. I met with Secretary Mayorkas months ago, and that was before he then took the step to grant temporary protective status for Venezuelans that came before July 31. That was a tremendous help for many of our Venezuelan newcomers who arrived in August and September. The challenge is now, we have 4,500 migrants in shelter tonight in Denver. We are the single largest recipient of migrants per capita of any city in America. And almost all those folks that have arrived now don't have access to that temporary protective status. So they don't have a clear path to work authorization. That makes it harder and harder for us to help them. And every time I see folks, they ask me the same thing, which is just, how can I get a job? All I need is access to work. And so we're optimistic that that's making progress. And we think there's should be an area of bipartisan support. Nothing more un-American than having someone come to the country and telling them they can't work to support themselves once they get here. So we think whatever Congress decides is their admission policy, that's got to come with clear and immediate access to work once they arrive.
We had the mayor of Houston on just before Christmas. We've had a lot of mayors who've been talking about this issue publicly. I'm curious
Johnston,
what the conversations are like behind the scenes, the contact you have with your fellow big city mayors, all of you trying to address this issue from slightly different perspectives all around the country.
Guys, so basically from what I'm hearing is that he is completely fine. If that's the case, then bro, keep sending them. They would love for them to be there. I'm not sure I like the concept of like economic migrancy, like specifically coming in and just like withdrawing income specifically from the United States of America and bringing it elsewhere, because that's basically what they're saying without actually saying it, right? Other than the crazy amount of interviews we've actually seen from people that are coming through the border, saying that they're just basically here for money, not to enrich the nation or not to like give us new things, just to withdraw money. And it seems like he's completely willing and ready for that to happen. So I would say that I think they probably need more then.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation and partnership. Obviously, right now, Chicago and New York and Denver together, we've accepted more than 200,000 migrants. So we are the great majority of all of the incoming traffic right now. So we have been in regular contact. But I've also been in a lot of contact with other mayors from other cities, some of whom have less inflow of migrants right now and are willing to be a part of the coalition to find a better solution. So I think when you're a city mayor, you're nonpartisan, you don't have a flag in the ideological battle in D.C., you just want to be able.
Yeah, that's not actually factual, though, because I see your name has a D next to it. So you, in fact, are partisan by definition.
City mayor, you're nonpartisan, you don't have a flag in the ideological battle in D.C., you just want to be able to run your city effectively. And what we need really is this work authorization plus resources and a coordinated plan. And we think that gets us a long way towards a successful strategy.
Yeah, but where do those resources come from?
plus resources and a coordinated plan. We think
Because
that
the federal government cannot continue to just print money, bro. Right? Like this is the situation we're currently in economically. We are here because of the crazy amount of printed money during the 19 case, right? Absolutely. So where does this money come from? Where does it come from, bro? Taxes? You're gonna raise our taxes specifically?
gets us a long way towards a successful strategy.
But my understanding is this has become something of a political fight in Colorado, where you've had some of the surrounding counties and communities very concerned about how Denver is handling this. Does the governor step in that situation? I mean, talk to me about how this is working in your region, in your broader community.
You know, the governor has been a great support for us, so we're lucky to have Governor Polis, and his team has done a fantastic job to help us with resources and other supports. But we do know this is a regional issue. I mean, the major reason we're the top recipient.
Yeah, it's definitely not a regional issue, bro.
Resources and other supports. But we do know this is a regional issue. I mean, the major reason we're the top recipient for migrants right now is because we are the shortest and cheapest bus ticket north of El Paso. You come straight north on I-25 from El Paso, Denver is the first big city you hit. And so we think this does need to be a regional solution. We're talking to mayors around the region. And frankly, we're hitting a point where there's not much else we can do. We have almost filled every single available hotel room in the city and county of Denver. And so we're over 4,500 migrants in shelter tonight. If that number continues to rise, we just wouldn't have the capacity in Denver to support it. So we are reaching out beyond our borders. And
oh, bro, just build more. Like, this is what you do. Do like all the other cities are doing. Find a public school, close it, and then turn it into a migrant shelter. That's all you have to do, bro. I mean, just follow the trend, it seems. Right?
We know people have questions and concerns, but I think they also don't want to see families and kids homeless in the streets of our cities. And so we want to make sure we find a solution that can avoid that.
I mean, no one wants to see anyone homeless, bro.
Well, to that end, you've said you've not considered turning away any of these buses of migrants that are coming to your city. But is there a point at which that's something Denver might have to do, or something you might have to consider?
No.
Yeah, we're going to hit a capacity at which we just won't be able anymore to manage the amount of inflow. And so we're trying to avoid that problem. But we know we can't keep growing at this pace. When I took the oath of
this is actually footage from Manhattan
office 6 months ago, we had about 400 migrants in shelter. We are more than 10 times that number right now. We've brought 35,000 through this year, and remarkably been able to get 99% of them up and placed into housing or work or onward travel. And so we have been very successful, but now we're hitting a breaking point at which there's just not enough volume of work or of housing in the city to support this ongoing volume. Not to mention the impact on city budgets. This could be $160 or $180 million of impact on our budget next year. That's almost 15% of the entire city budget. So those are numbers we certainly couldn't accommodate on our own without real help.
And
listen, here's the thing. But if you cannot accommodate it on your own without like federal government help, then why are you saying everything's fine then, bro? Like, you're saying one thing, but your word, like literally how you're saying it is one way, but the words you're using are saying almost the exact opposite. You said you're about to hit a breaking point. In fact, you are. You probably have already. But the problem is that now you are taking most likely away from the citizens of the area specifically to move those funds to the migrants. And that's where, like, listen, I understand help if you can, but the amount of people that have hit Denver is craziness, and he's fine with it. So send more.
To that end, I mean, New York City's mayor, Eric Adams, they've been getting hammered by this. He told a reporter recently, he said something to the effect of, not everyone that's coming into this country is pursuing the American dream. It sounded somewhat Trumpian. I mean, I wonder how you feel.
Because here's the problem here, guys. I have never been someone that would have been that's considered right-leaning or left-leaning, really, right? But the dilemma here is the fact that when the mayor of New York finally says something that's honest and true without caring at all about what anyone else has to say, he's like, listen, bro, this is getting crazy, enough, right? And you say that's Trumpian? What does that even mean, bro? All right? It means that this has gotten too crazy. They can no longer handle it, and they now see the forest through the trees, guys. They see it, and they see that. All right, and this guy here hasn't gotten enough yet. So just move everyone there and say, Denver's where you need to be. make TikTok videos about how everyone needs to go to Denver, basically.
I feel like does that narrative,
if that's the case,
play into the anti-immigrant argument that we're hearing from Donald Trump and some of his supporters? How do you view that?
I mean, the thing that actually gives me hope about this scenario is that every day it's quite clear to me there is a path to solve it. And when I talk to migrants every single day, all they say is, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't need help or charity. All I want is a job. At the same time, I get calls every day from employers and CEOs who say, hey, Mike, I hear there are a bunch of migrants just arrived. I want to hire them. Can I please hire them? So we have people
at below minimum wage. Keep that in mind. That's what exactly they're saying. They're looking for cheap labor.
People here who desperately want to work. We have employers here who definitely want to hire them. We have a federal government that stands in the way of our ability to get them hired. I talked to a migrant on Friday who is here on an asylum claim, and that asylum claim is set to be adjudicated right now in the year 2029. And so that is not a path for success for him or for our city. But
I agree. The length of time it actually takes for asylum to actually go through, or any type of like serious visas and things like that, that's a problem. And the reason why a lot of these people are doing this is because of the length of time it actually requires to actually get into the country. And that's why these people are like, listen, I'm not waiting, right? That's what this is.
They do desperately want to work. We just want to give them the chance to get to work.
All right, a message from the middle of the country to Washington. Help us get these people to work. Mayor Mike Johnston, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Have a great day.
Thanks.
All right, Johnston. All right, I'll look into him a little bit more, I guess. But now here's the thing. I definitely do not want to ever come off as I'm anti-immigrant. That's not a thing. My wife is from Spain. I've immigrated into multiple countries. I've immigrated my son into this country along with my wife. And so, just keep this in mind. I am under no circumstance am I anti-immigrant. That's not the overall messaging here. My only thing is that it's too much. There has to be a limit to how much. We cannot take the world's population. I'm gonna keep saying it, bro. That's just the reality of things. And honestly, 6 months ago, my statements that I'm making now would have been completely different, right? Until I saw all of this, right? Seeing all of this to the level that I've seen it, experiencing, all types of crazy similar migrancy that happens in the south of Spain specifically, is interesting also. It's the same type of thing. Ever since the 19, people have been trying to get to the West. They've just been running to the West, bro. Running as fast as they possibly could, because guys, imagine if our economy is this bad and everything is backed off the dollar. Imagine what these other countries are experiencing. Inflation went up throughout the world. Anyone that uses the US dollar is suffering inflation, massive inflation. So, but all right. You guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.